So I sure hope that you get off of the treadmill and come into Market America, the unfranchised, and do the basic 5, get with the 8 pumps, do things the way they really work so that you can make it happen. And you know, it's time for a change. It's time to change your thinking. If we keep thinking the same way, we're going to get the same result. If we keep doing the same things, we're going to get the same result. So one of the things that we have to resolve, that if we want to change the way our life is, if we want to change our result, we need to change the way we think. I've come to learn that we actually program ourselves to become what we are right now. We're actually, like our brain is actually a computer. And you know the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. We actually do, though, program ourselves and our brain to become what we are. Okay, and that's why we react to certain things in a certain way. That's why we do things in a certain way. That's why we're afraid of certain things. That's why we're confident. We actually program our brain. Now, some people say, I don't like that. You know, that sounds like we're a robot or well, that's the way God made it. He gave you a brain, but he gave you also the ability to decide. He created man in his own image, allowing him to be able to have the power of creation. No other creature has it but man. So our great brain that God gave us allows us to program it and consciously decide what we want to become and create our own circumstances, create our own future. But you have to program the brain. And that simply means what you put in it, what you expose yourself to, what you think about all day, okay? That you have control over. Now, a lot of people say, well, JR, okay, you're just brainwashed. And you brainwash people. And when I heard that from some of my affluent friends, because when you start to succeed, you get more affluent friends, I was crushed. How could they say this about me? But as I thought about it, maybe they're right. Maybe they're actually right. I am brainwashed. I'm brainwashed to be successful. I'm brainwashed to help other people be successful. And you're brainwashed to be miserable and want everybody to fail. I would much rather be the way I am than the way you are. Okay? In fact, some of those old friends, okay, look at us today, look at me today, and they say, JR, look at you. Look at the company. Look at all the success and all the things that you have. You sure are lucky. The smart ones say, you are fortuitous. That's a fancy word for lucky. I thought about that. I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. I sure am lucky that I didn't listen to you. And you see, that's where most people go wrong. They listen to those people and they don't program their brain. But you see, I think this was demonstrated best to me one time when I was in Toronto, Canada, preparing for a seminar. And it was a hot day, and I had the door open, and I was preparing my presentation. And there was a fly, a big horse fly, flying up against the window. And, you know, the window pane. And you could kind of see that the fly was trying to get through that 1/8 of an inch piece of glass to freedom. A beautiful day out. And it would just work harder and harder, flying. Brrr, brrr, brrr. And the fly kind of instinctively felt that if it could fly harder in the same direction, it would eventually get through that glass because it saw this illusion of freedom. Brrr, 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 until it was a dead fly on the windowsill. Every last bit of energy and life it put into getting through that pane of glass, and it ended up a dead fly on the windowsill. I need to smack it, and it was extremely annoying. But then I thought, you know, all that fly needed to do, rather than doing the same thing like people do, the 45-year plan, the same thing into business rather than the right thing, all it had to do was turn around and fly 8 feet out the open doorway to freedom, like the 2 to 3 year plan. And you see, the point is that if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same result. In fact, I like the definition of insanity, that a person who thinks that by doing the same thing they will get a different result is insane. We want to make sure that we're crazy, but not insane, because you've got to be a little crazy to build this business. But you don't want to expect to get a different result by doing the same thing. Let's change things. Let's do them the unfranchised way. Let's embrace some of these concepts with technology, okay? And let's make it happen. You need to change what you're doing in order to change the way things turn out for you. You need to change your thinking in order to change what you do, because what you think is going to affect what you do. Is this making sense to you? You see? And that's why audios are so important. I discovered this accidentally. Somehow, when I became involved in this business, it was kind of an accident. And the individual who showed me the program in this type of business said, you need to listen to this tape if you want to be successful, because you don't really understand what it takes. And this individual studied all the successful people in the world and found that there was a common golden thread that exists between them. And if you understand that common golden thread, JR, you too will become successful as an entrepreneur. Well, that really captured my imagination. I got that tape and I listened to it. It was called The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And the tape went on and on and on, building up to this mysterious climax of what the strangest secret was. And it finally got to the end, and it said, the strangest secret is we become what we think about all the time. Now, you have to understand, at that point in my life, I was 21, and I couldn't understand how that could be true. Because if it was, I would have definitely become a girl. Because I was 21, right? But there is a lot of truth in it. What it really means is our predominant thinking molds who we are. And we actually control what we think. So you see, knowledge is confidence. When you have knowledge, it allows you to understand why you're going to succeed. It's not up to chance, because you know how to do it, you see. So you exude confidence. And when you exude confidence because you've got knowledge, people listen to you. Now watch that as a secret. Think about it. When you exude confidence because you know what you're doing, people listen to you. Now in this business, if people listen to you, what does that do to the probability of success? So from that experience, this gentleman told me, you need to listen to tapes all the time. Okay? It's the most important thing that one can do, because it conditions your mind and it gives you knowledge to exude confidence. So for 30 years, every day of my life, I can say, including today, including when I'm traveling, including on a plane, I listen to an audio. 30 years I've been doing this. 30 years listening to audios. So I'm programmed. So you don't want to get in a bad mouth contest with me, okay? An argument with me, because I'm not weak, I'm strong. And it does something else to you. It causes you to become creative, because it stimulates your mind, and it causes you to draw on the ethers, okay, the greater consciousness of the world, and the ideas are attracted to you, and you become a creative problem solver. And you'll notice that the great leaders are creative problem solvers. So, you know, technology simply makes it easier to program our brain, because we have all this on an MP3. Now that we have programmed our brain and we exude confidence and we know what to do, and we're able to better empower our own people to build the business because we do it with them too, but you have to lead by example. Now I'm ready to build. And at the end of the game, what determines who wins? Well, in this business, I believe that it's who fills the funnel the best and knows how to shake the bean jar. Because that's where the customers come from, and that's where the distributors come from. And you might get lucky and just find the right two, but that doesn't happen for most of us. In fact, those are the people that we kind of are jealous of. It's not fair that they just got two.